Hello everybody, this is Purge, bringing you a first-person replay commentary. Commentating this after the fact, and I'm going to be playing Medusa today, so as I'm sure you guys can tell by the title. So, Medusa as a hero is a extremely hard carry. The problem is that she kind of sucks early in a lot of ways. It takes a really long time for her to ramp up and for her to actually be effective. So unfortunately, you will get to see me, well, not unfortunately, you guys like the gold sound. I like the gold sound. You're going to have a good time. That's all that's going to happen, I promise. So, Medusa is the hero. Sorry I haven't made like a video just for the channel that wasn't from the stream in quite a while, like a week. But I have a couple more stream videos to upload, but I decided to throw in one of these replay casts because I didn't want the replay to expire. And I haven't actually gotten to talk to you guys in a while, except for on the stream. I have water. Oh, yes. My day just got so much better. I just had breakfast. I went to the grocery store like a couple days ago. Turns out life is much better when you actually get to eat breakfast regularly. Pick my hero, me. Come on, me. I think this was single draft or something. Dude, why can I not? I literally still haven't picked my hero. Where am I at? I don't remember when the last time I made a Medusa video was. Probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. Maybe, no, it was probably a couple months. I think it's been a while since I uploaded one. Maybe since I uploaded the first one. Dude, I took forever to pick my hero this game. Holy crap. I think I went to the bathroom is what happened. That is my Facebook. I'm so sorry. I'm just going to close that right now because that is unacceptable. Okay. So, things about Medusa. She's gorgeous, number one. Look at that ass. And other than that, she's pretty much an AoE carry. A lot more than more typical carries. Let me try to think of another AoE carry.
30 seconds.
I'm having a lot of trouble thinking of an AoE carry other than Medusa. It is kind of peculiar to have an AoE carry rather than a single target. Almost all of the carries in Dota, at least in my experience, are very single target focused. Like an anti-mage, for example, right-clicks one guy, a Phantom Assassin right-clicks one guy, and it makes things like Ghost Scepters. Gyrocopter, duh. There's an AoE carry. Perfect example. Gyrocopter is a perfect example of an AoE carry. He's got Flat Cannon, which lets him attack everything, and Call Down, and he also has Rocket Barrage for single target nuke. For that reason, people generally find Gyrocopter to be a better pick than Medusa. They're like, why would you pick Medusa when you can pick Gyrocopter? Because, for example, her first skill, Split Shot, allows you to attack 4 extra targets. You get an outgoing damage reduction, but obviously this is worth it, because if your regular attack's 100%, and then it gets reduced to 80%, but then you attack 5 total things, that means you're doing 400%. You're doing 4 times the total damage in a team fight. It just isn't always too focused on one target. But if there's an entire team on the enemy team, then that's a good thing then, because then it spreads all the damage out really well. So that's some of the theory about Medusa as a hero. Her base damage is okay at level 1. This is a clockwork here. Before I talk about laning against this laning setup that we have, I'll just continue talking about the hero a bit. The way Mystic Snake works is you throw it and it bounces from creep to creep to creep. And if it lands, as it bounces, it does 25% more damage, and I believe mana steal per jump. So basically the damage accelerates as it jumps targets, up to 6. I don't remember exactly. I think somebody looked it up. Let me think. Alright, so it does 200 damage. I don't know if the increase per jump is based on the base number or the subsequent. I thought that would bounce more to the clockwork, but it didn't, unfortunately. I'm not exactly sure. Whatever. It does a lot of damage by the time it bounces to 6 times. So usually what you want to do in lane is you want to bounce it off of creeps, and then off of creeps onto enemy heroes, basically. Or you can also bounce it. It does steal mana, which comes back to you as the snake returns, so it can also be very good for refilling your mana pool or casting on range creeps for free, basically. I casted the snake on that range creep, or on that creep, because I wanted to get the last hit. It cost me quite a bit of mana, but I was okay with this. And I seem to remember I didn't last hit very well under the tower the first couple times. I thought I would get that one, but that was a little peculiar. Here we have a clockwork. The clockwork's doing a really good job of getting experience. I guess we can talk about that now. If you take a look at our laning setup right now, we have a mid hero. We have an off-lane hero, which is our Rubik, which is not a typical off-lane hero, of course. And we also have a jungling Doom. Whenever you have a hero that's dedicated just to jungling, like the Doom is, you see this a lot in lower level games, Nature's Prophet jungling. I absolutely despise Nature's Prophet junglers right now, because the reason that they suck is they make your lanes extremely weak. And it's for this reason here. The Clockwork that I'm laning against, if we take a look at his EXP, he has almost the same EXP that I do. Obviously, I have more last hits than him. Actually, he has more last hits than me somehow. Because I suck, but he's the same level as me. And this causes a problem because Medusa isn't a very strong laner compared to a lot of other heroes. Sure, if I was like a gyrocopter or something, I have rocket barrage, but all I have is a snake, and my HP is pretty low, and my damage is pretty low in the early game. So if he gets to match levels with me, it makes my laning harder, and especially the first couple of waves, he was actually contesting my last hits. I didn't get free farm, so this ends up being a problem later, but because the Witch Doctor went to pull, rather than contesting the Clockwork of EXP, the Clockwork has now matched us completely in EXP. He's going to be level 4 as this creep wave dies, and I'm level 4 as well. I mean, on the added benefit, the Witch Doctor has been able to pick up a level 4 of his own as a result of the pulling and stuff, but it's basically greedy because we essentially have 5 heroes grabbing EXP and farming on the map, and 0 heroes giving map control, essentially. Sure, we get some map control from the pulling, but the problem that this entails is since I'm a weak laner, and now we have less lane control all over the place, it puts me in a bad spot, and then I'm gonna die, basically. Now, this was obviously a lot of my fault. It's ridiculous that I let him get that close to me, but I did have boots, but I let him get way too close to me. But regardless, he was a level 4. I felt like there was no way that I was going to die to a solo Clockwork. Because normally when you're in the safe farming position, your opponent's solos your opposing solos end up getting a lot less EXP usually. But he ended up being the same level as me, and obviously battery assault does a lot of damage. And I let him get close to me and I died as a result. So I think what the Witch Doctor should have done is probably just contested the Clockwork from the lane, even at a deficit of his own EXP. Because if he would have done that, even if he stays matched to the same level as the Clock, for example, like if our Witch Doctor stays at level 1 and their Clockwork stays at level 1, just for the intention of keeping him out of EXP range, it would be worth it. Because we already have a jungling Doom. They have 2 supports, I believe, that are just pulling and stuff, and they're not going to be able to level as fast as the Doom is, essentially. So if the Witch Doctor just provides me an area to stay alive and not die, it makes a big impact. And this, you guys should apply this to your Nature's Prophet games as well. Because if you're playing Nature's Prophet again, it creates your lanes end up being really, really weak because of it. Because you have one hero that literally sits in the jungle and doesn't do anything else for the early game. That's it. He does one thing. So yeah, I really don't like jungling heroes sometimes. Same goes for like a lifestealer jungle can work because oftentimes the lifestealer will come on a gank. Much harder to do that now with the open wounds nerf, but I just hate heroes that are dedicated to jungling that aren't like Enigma or Chen or Enchantress. All the other ones kind of bother me. So here's the snake. I bounced it a bunch. We did some pretty good damage there, but didn't get a kill. Just picked up my ulti now. So yeah, I wish the Witch Doctor would have contested his EXP, because if for example, I was a level 3 Medusa and he was a level 1... if he's a level 1 Clockwork while I was a level 3 Medusa, he wouldn't really be able to contest my farm that much, and I would be able to bully him. If we're the same level, he has the potential to get solo kills on me like that, which, again, was my fault to let him get that close, but it would have made the lane a lot easier for me, I think. So, and especially, I'm a super late hard carry. If you just give me a really good start, it should allow me to be more self-sufficient once I have a level advantage. So, that's the basic idea. I wanted to talk about that. I ended up ally chatting that to the Witch Doctor later, and he was unhappy with me. But whatever. I think my points stand. Again, I bounced that to the Clockwork.
Where's the party?
So this is the part where the game was paused for quite a bit, so I was checking cooldowns and stuff. We're going to try to see if I could survive this. As a ganking DD Storm Spirit, by the way. So, at this point I pretty much realized I was dicked. I was going to pop my ulti. My spell shield should be on now. But regardless, I only have 200 HP, so I'm just going to speed this up, because it's not worth waiting for it. Sorry I'm coughing so much. I'm still, like, slightly sick, and talking a lot is making me cough. Anyways, whatever. I'm dead. You didn't need to see that.
And their corpse is closer.
It was over really fast, obviously. I panic. That's right, I panic bought as well. Well, not panic, I was planning to do that, but I bought 3 TPs, which is a bit of a mistake as well. I probably only should have bought maybe 2 TPs max. And I also purchased a magic wand, because I didn't want to lose any gold there. So I ended up not losing gold, we got no kills, and I ended up dying a second time, so Not very good as the hard carry. Alright, so now I'm at a moderate deficit. If we compare what the Faceless Void is working with, he's level 7. He's also picked up a Hand of Midas, so not the best start for me. I do like to pick up a wand and a Ring of Basilius pretty early on as Medusa, though, because I feel it essentially complements a lot of her things. Namely, her armor's a little low. The the mana regen is really useful because you will be casting things like Mystic Snake, and you will need mana for Mana Shield. If you guys don't know how Mana Shield works, by the way, it basically absorbs some of the damage you take in exchange for mana. So I thought I was gonna get that creep there, but I guess I did not. It was a little weird. So I'll pick up a 4th level snake. I currently have 1 level of stats. I used to get 2 levels, but I changed my mind. Now I go for just 1 level. Turn on my Mana Shield in time. Still end up dying though. It's very wise of them to gank me like 3 times in a row though. It makes a lot of sense just because again, I'm a super late game hard carry, so shutting me down is really beneficial to them. I'd like to point out that we have no wards here or here. Usually the Slain ward is really useful for a easy to kill hard carry because it will notice TPs and it'll notice people coming through the river this way. It wouldn't have noticed people coming by the rune spots, so there was a chance that I could have died that way, but even still, dying again is really unfortunate for me. But one benefit, again, we have 5 heroes farming, or at least we did in the past, which means now that there is a hope, and the hope is Doom. Doom hasn't been touched at all this game. The pressure has been on me. I don't know how Rubik's doing. Rubik actually has been able to pick up level 6 as well, so that's pretty good for us so far. It could be much worse. So I'm just gonna sit under the tower for a bit because I was worried about getting ganked or alt tabbed or something. I'm not quite sure. Looks like I was briefly alt. Oh, I think I was typing to the that was when I was typing to the Witch Doctor. I was like, I think you should have contested his EXP. Because, like, think how differently it could have been, for example. Like, me surviving to a lot of those ganks were probably not going to happen, but if I didn't die the first time, I would have had a couple levels over the Clockwork, for example, if he was zoned out. And then maybe I would have had more last hits. Maybe I'd be closer to, like, 50 CS now. Maybe I'd have treads. Maybe I'd have a Ring of Health. Those are small HP differences that might make a big impact when the first ganks come. And if you survive the first gank, then there's a good chance that you'll survive the next gank because you won't be behind. Things like that. So like small little snowball things, like even something as small as him losing EXP to contest the Clockwork could make a big enough difference for this game to go very, very differently in the early game, essentially. I think the Doom is ganking on the bot lane right now. Yeah, he is actually. So it's good for him that he's actually doing early ganking. This looks really bad though. Eat a creep. Eat a creep. Eat a creep. Oh, he didn't do it in time. He was so dead. I end up picking up a Belt of Giant Strength now because I wanted to get my HP up as much as possible. Usually I like grabbing a Ring of Health before I start my treads, just because you can usually pick up the Ring of Health shortly after the Ring of Basilius. I go usually like Basey into Boots into Ring of Health is usually my order for early item build. But this game I decided that HP regen doesn't matter, I just need as much HP as possible so that I can maybe survive a gank. So, going treads ASAP. My right click damage is actually okay. The Ring of Basilius does give you +6. Ends up being pretty useful. I'm trying to keep my position close to the creeps. That way, if there's a hook shot, then there's a chance that I can survive it.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
If you're unsure about how that works now, I'll talk about it later.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So I barely survived that one. Definitely the difference of a Belt of Giant Strength, though.
Middle tower is under attack.
Magic Wand, very good if you're getting ganked a lot early. It does kind of delay your farming items, but it's still pretty worth it, honestly. And then somebody reminded me about the Clockwork Rockets, so I started to juke a bit more. And I left the shield on, of course. So I can stop like 50 damage with the Mana Shield. I guess I would have survived no matter what at this point, but definitely pretty scary. I've been getting ganked so many times, and that was only a 2-person gank. Anyways, so Mana Shield blocks them the damage you take in exchange for mana, so it'll drain. You'll see my mana get drained really fast. The way Stone Gaze works is you turn it on. She looks as beautiful as ever, and it will slow your opponents by 50%. This is reworked recently. And if they're staring at me for enough time, I don't know why the guy stunned that. That was a huge mistake.
Dire's bottom tower is
That guy
under
was already
attack.
disabled. There's no reason to throw the cast that early. But excuse me. So it works is slows by 50%. If they look at me for what is the total? 2 seconds of total time. So basically, if their hero is oriented in a way where, imagine your vision is, let's say, I don't think this isn't the case for humans, but for Dota heroes, it's 50%. So the way that your hero is looking is like essentially 180 degrees of vision. So if my hero model is standing within that 180 degrees for up to 2 seconds during the 6-second duration, they will be petrified, which means they stop moving, they're essentially stunned, and they take bonus physical damage, and I believe they get 100% magic resistance while they're petrified. So in some ways the petrification can be negative if I have a lot of magic nukers on my team, but as you saw the clockwork, it stunned him, for example. He had a great hook shot to catch me on my escape back to the base, but essentially it's very good. It's basically a team fight ultimate. This goes through magic immunity as well, so it's pretty cool. It's a little different than it used to. It used to apply like a purge effect to anybody that looked at me during the 6-second duration, but only once. In some ways I like that other ulti better, but this one is much better for team fighting. Rather than just doing like a soft disable, this one has the ability to actually stun opponents and get you out of danger a lot more. It's always going to cost mana, which is one downside, and the scaling really isn't that good. The only thing that changes for the scaling is the bonus physical damage. But considering that a lot of Medusa's damage is physical, it ends up being okay. So I don't usually buy a Wraith Band at this point, but I think I decided to do it this game because I was so far behind. I've died 3 times, and I knew we were able to see these guys coming. Ooh, I could have gotten that kill. Oh, I messed that up a lot. At the time, I tried to use my ulti to have him within vision of me, but he actually didn't end up looking at me. So what I should have done, I should have turned off Spell Shield, and I should have waited until my Mystic Snake came off cooldown, and I could have picked him off with my Snake. I didn't realize at the time, though. And I took tower hits, which meant that I lost mana, so that was a pretty big mistake for me. We still killed the Storm, which was nice, but being able to kill the Storm and the Clockwork there would have been a lot more helpful.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under Radiant's top
Anyways, we
tower
won a team
has
fight.
fallen.
I've got 1,000 gold now. I can buy
Dire's
something.
structures are
I think I bought a ring of
fortified.
health now. Yeah. This is my very typical item progression. Treads, Basey Wand with TP Scroll, and then I buy a Ring of Health. Or sometimes I buy the Ring of Health before the other stuff.
Dire's bottom tower is under Dire's middle tower has fallen.
So we are not going to be able to catch him.
Dire's bottom
He's trying to
tower
steal the
is
song
under
if he can.
attack.
Have to be a bit careful here. Arcane Boots are really nice. It's a little scary for me to sit on Agi Treads as well. I've been getting ganked so much that it might be a bit better just to sit on Strength Treads, but the Agi does help with last hitting a bit. Anyways, I purchased a Wraith Band now. That'll make a Ring of Aquila. I almost never actually make a Ring of Aquila on Medusa because I'd rather grab really big items, but the essentially, to get to more survivability in my item build that I'm doing, I would have to buy an Ultimate Orb. The other items that I could buy are a Void Stone or an Ultimate Orb. And an Ultimate Orb is 2,000 gold away, and there's no way that I have like an expectation to get there anytime soon. So that means that instead I'm just going to focus on getting some survivability right now. A Wraith Band will only give me 60 HP. It'll also give me 9 damage and some mana. So it helps. And those are the kind of items that you want as Medusa anyways. So while my team's fighting here, I could have maybe TP'd to come to this fight, but it was kind of in a place where by the time I would have gotten there, the fight might be over, or I might be there too late, essentially. Like, if the fight's over by the time I get there, and I teleport there, I waste a lot. It actually puts me pretty far behind. Now they're diving at my tier 2, and I feel like I probably should have been there, looking at the map now. I didn't realize they dived tier 2, but they're still kind of fighting. I probably should have teleported as they were under the tower. I could have helped for that. But instead I end up being top, so I figure I might as well do something with it. Still got him anyways with the rocket, but so I'll just start pushing. Whenever there's a lot of fighting going on and you're playing a hard carry, the problem is actually the tier 1 tower's already gone, so I'm honestly kind of wasting my time here. I definitely should have been to that fight by the tier 2. I think it was a big mistake not to go. But anyways, while it's happening, I'll just go push. This at least gives me some farm. My team is finally making space for me, whereas I was making space for everybody else by dying before. So I'll just do some pushing. Luckily I got all the last hits. We're going to see Void TP to the top lane to farm. And for now I'll go back in the jungle. So, yep, picked up the Wraith Band to get some more survivability, slightly more damage. I'm now level 10, so my mana shield's maxed out, so it's really cost efficient. I'm going to stack this first before I try to kill it. I kind of wish that I had a level split shot here because I would be able to jungle a bit faster, but it's okay. That's what Snake's for, guys. Jungling is always the best thing to do after you push up a lane like this too much. You just come back into the jungle and then you just right-click stuff. It's not as fast as laning, but obviously it's much safer. So. And I picked up another level of Stone Gaze. I probably should have picked up a split shot instead of the Stone Gaze here, I think. I think that would have been better. I was a little scared that Face's Void would be over here, so I decided to run around this way to go to the creep wave, if you're wondering why I ran around such a weird way. Last hits. Actually got no mana out of that because none of the melee creeps have mana pools, but it was still fun. Yeah, creep waves are so easy. I love how much money they give you. Now we can see all of the enemies coming to me. That means I'm going to turn on my mana shield and I'm looking to juke. I can either hide up here or I can run to the right. But we should be able to fight this. That's a dead Dazzle. He's trying really hard to do him. It's a really nice cog. And the silence as well is going to stop us from initiating.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
That's one really cool thing about Song against Medusa. Just like stops me entirely. Can't believe that guy didn't stun that guy. That was a kill. It's a little bit late there. So yeah, he did this a lot this game. Whenever I'd use Stone Gaze, he would just Song it. And that would prevent my ulti from going into effect essentially. Even if it stunned the Naga Siren later, it wouldn't make a big difference. It would just like, it would disable her. Aha. I really didn't want to mess around with the Void because he was really farmed. So I'll just play it safe here. I'll let the creep wave come past and then I'll go for CS.
Illusion.
Doom has killed Clockwork, which is good. 700 gold for him. And again, my team is making space for me while I farm. It's a pretty good sign as well, because I think we're up quite a bit behind in the early game, so them being able to make kills with the 4v5 is really good for us. It does look like Face's Void is showing up to their fights,
Radiant
so.
structures are fortified.
Or at least he's close. I can't really get there as fast, though, because I can only TP to the tier 2 tower, so. But the best thing you can do in a case like this, if you are playing the hard carry, is not miss last hits, essentially. As long as you can get all the last hits while your team is off fighting, then you are in some ways helping out. But I can actually push now. There's a tier 1 tower in the bot lane. I can turn on my Ring of Aquila. I think I was a little... Okay, nope. I'm just tread switching right now. I was also worried about getting ganked here. And then I saw them all go mid, so... My choices are, if they all start a team fight, I either TP or I push. And I opted to push here. So I will push instead. It's gonna be Naga Siren.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I really messed up there, actually. I activated a bit too late.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Right clicking for extra damage, and then I'll snake her at the end. Okay, there we go. I really didn't want to get hook-shotted because I saw the rocket come in, so TP'd out. But I should have activated my ulti just a fraction of a second earlier. Luckily, she turned around the last second when she felt like dying, so I was able to last hit the tower. No, My catapult last hit it, but regardless, we got the tower. So we got the tower. I got a solo kill. That's a lot of EXP for me. Really good for us. Got some high skill plays going on. Does not look like a kill. That's, yes, you're seeing right, guys. That's a 22-minute Monkey King bar on Faces of Void. That's terrifying.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
I love walking up to creep waves like this. It's so good.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
I was gonna wait till the creeps are a couple less before I ended up snaking this. So I wanted to hit all, getting last hits is so nice, man. Just love it. So I finally have enough for an ultimate orb. My team is somehow owning it without me, which is cool. This doesn't always happen. I think we have pretty strong early game heroes, though. Relatively. And they're still kind of fighting. I'm very close to my Lincoln Sphere, though, so I kind of wanted to wait. Again, I maybe should have TP'd. I picked up another teleport scroll. But they're so far away, like, if I would teleport and try to run there, it would be seriously 15 seconds until I got there. In which case, the fight might be over by then, and then I would lose out on farm, and maybe if I get there late and I die, then I don't have my Lincoln Sphere, so it just ended up being a little greedy and decide to continue farming. I'll just take the mid wave. They're, like, literally still farming. Or fighting, that is. So my Lincoln's is probably like 6 minutes late or something like that, 5 minutes late. But dying 3 times to get here is... I don't think I did too bad. I've been farming quite well since I died a bunch. I don't think I missed a lot of last hits, so...
Radiant's top tower is
For some
under
reason,
attack.
looks like we didn't lose the fight, and they ended up backing off. I'm not really sure what happened down there, but... something happened. Alright, so now I have Lincoln's money. I can buy the recipe. It would have been really good for me to be there as he initiated. Now I decided to leave him. I probably should have been there. Rather than taking that last creep wave, I probably should have teleported out. Or walked down there in time. But regardless, I got my Lincolns. Like, once you get your Lincolns, you're pretty happy. You might be wondering why I'm getting a Lincoln's as a hard carry. To talk a little bit about that, we have to look at the interactions about Medusa as a hero. Number 1, split shot's really good. It works on illusions, which means that you probably want to be able. I like getting a Manta on Medusa is like pretty much required. It's really useful because if you use split shot and then you use your Manta, your illusions will also split shot. So basically, you're really increasing your damage output. I'm not sure if we knew that they were rushing or not. I don't think we did know, actually. Yeah, I don't think we knew.
Return to the furnace.
He got blown up. This is not good, guys. Tried to stay in front of him so he could take bonus physical. Split shot, go.
I take yours.
So we ended up losing the fight. We lost Doom before the fight started, and then the next assassin died, and then I went in. So probably shouldn't have gone in there. We did kill the Void. We killed the Void. and he bought back. So that did cost him a lot of gold, I'm sure. Yeah, he's nothing past the Monkey King bar, basically. I mean, he got this Monkey King bar at 22 minutes. Remember, that was 5 minutes ago. And since then, he's only gotten an extra 1,000 gold. So forcing the buyback on him is not that big of a loss for us, actually, in some ways. Even though we lost that fight, I don't think I'm too unhappy about it. So, oh yeah, I'm talking about why Lincoln Sphere is good. Okay. So you have Manta Illusions. Those do split shot. Because of that, you want agility for more damage. Because agility applies, only agility applies to your illusions for extra damage. If you get a Demon Edge, for example, a plus 46 damage item, this doesn't actually make your illusions do more damage. So it's very important to get those. Strength is important because you want to be tankier, and you want more mana, or int, because the way that Mana Shield works is, the more mana that you have, the more HP you can absorb. So if you get really tanky, and you have a lot of mana, then you're really, really hard to kill. If you get agility on top of that, you have more damage. So basically, you want to buy items that give you stats across the board. This is why I bought an Aquila. This is why I like buying a wand. Sorry, it's hard to talk without coughing sometimes. I'll get better soon, I promise. Okay, so you want more strength for HP, you want more mana for magic, for more intelligence. No, you want more int for more mana pool, so you can survive more, and you want more agility to do more damage. So Lincoln's is really good. Wand is great for that. Ring of Aquila is great. Especially Wand is great because if you get a HP MP heal, it technically is healing you for HP twice because more mana is more HP. So really, really good to get a Wand. I absolutely recommend a Wand. I was really not that worried about a solo Storm Spirit. I saw the other heroes on the map, so looks like we lost Rubik. Can level up my ulti here. It looks like there was a team fight starting, so I'm going to go hide and teleport. I really didn't want him to pull me while I did this, so I made sure to go hide. Fortunately, my ulti ran out like just when. It's funny, I didn't realize he was hiding here.
Under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
I had no idea that he was right there. I assumed he escaped. So I'm sure the rest of my team did too. Alright, now he escaped finally. So after I grab a Lincoln's, I always go for the Manta immediately afterwards. Yasha first for the damage. At this point, my right-click damage on one target is really not that good. There's no way in hell I'd ever beat a Void in a 1v1 match. There's no way.
Dire's middle tower is under
I can't even really fight with Storm, which is another reason I didn't even mess around with Storm at all. I just can't beat him. He has way too much survivability, and my damage for a single target is not good. So, ended up, I'll go Yasha first into Manta, and then my AoE damage will continue to increase. You can kind of see how good it is right now, just based on creeps alone. It's not bad at all. You can easily toggle between single shot and split shot using my hotkeys T, but it'll be Q for you if you have the core hotkeys or whatever. So back to the jungle. You can actually flash farm pretty well with Medusa just because of your AoE. It's really nice. It helps as well if somebody stacks for you. Like if somebody went and stacked Ancients this whole time, it could really accelerate my gold growth. It's so hard to talk without coughing, I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. Okay, deep breaths. Apparently we're smoke ganking, which is fine. I'm actually farmed enough. I'm happy to go fight. Our Doom has a Radiance and a Shadow Blade. So if things go well, he should be able to Doom initiate on somebody. We're gonna let our Nyx Assassin go first here. I didn't want to show that I was pushing here, so I backed up Snake. So I'm turning on my ulti here, and I want it to apply to Void. There it goes. I end up stunning him here. So my ultimate ends up paying off pretty hard. We get a stun off on the Void right before he kills the Nyx Assassin, and then we win the team fight.
Thanks.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
The reason Void's not really going for me is because I'm really, really hard to kill. It's usually better if he picks off like the Rubik or the Nyx Assassin or something.
Radiant's middle
I think we might be able to take a Rax here.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Wow, that stun actually hit. So that was really, really good for us.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower.
We got a tower here, and we should be able to get a Rax as well.
Radiant's middle barracks is falling.
So fast. Zap.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
Just got my ulti up again, but faces Void's here. We should probably.
Incoming.
I was a little late on my ulti. So he ends up killing me in a whole Chronosphere. If I would have gotten my ulti off before I got chronoed, I think we could have won this fight here. But that was my mistake. He actually had chrono there. He didn't use it though for some reason. But yeah, if I would have used my ulti there, we could have probably won that team fight. But we shouldn't have been there. We should have just left. Like, we got both sets of racks. There's no reason to stay, and now we have 4 dead heroes. If we just would have backed off there and gone back to farming, we would have kept a pretty big EXP and gold advantage. And if we look at the charts, we've actually been in the gold lead for quite a while here, since we've been out farming them. And we've been winning team fights. But this little jump up of EXP is going to be as a result of us all dying. I mean, look at that. We had a pretty big EXP advantage, and we just threw it all away. It's kind of what keeps happening, actually. We keep taking really bad team fights, and then losing all of our advantage. All these kills are really big. Oh, I'm sorry, it's the red one, isn't it?
Dire's
whatever.
middle tower is under attack.
I also messed up not quick buying for some reason. I got chronoed and I was so focused on pressing my ulti that I just didn't even quick buy. It was quite silly. So back to the jungle. He has a BKB now and a point booster. So we knew he's going to Aghanims, which is kind of a weird build, especially against a Rubik, because Rubik can steal your Aghanims buffs. I just don't think it's really that worth it. I knew that Void was top, so I was really scared here, which is why I wasn't completely CSing. I wanted to sit under the tower just in case. Let's go over here and buy an ultimate orb. More stats. Now my HP is actually getting to a really good place. Split shot's so good. It really is great. One benefit of split shot over flat cannon only works for 6 hits, and it's a 30-second cooldown now. It keeps getting nerfed. Split shot works all the time, so it's much better for farming, in my opinion. Except that you have to get a couple levels for it to be really good. I don't know why Nyx Assassin was there, but he tried to get a solo kill and he ended up dying solo. So that was pretty silly. What's Doom going? Oh, heart. I don't like this choice before armor, personally. 1000 HP is really useful against magic nukes and things, but against physical damage output, I think a heart right now is just way too early. I think I'm gonna go try to stack before. Yeah, I'm trying to stack before I kill this. I'm gonna be a little late, but apparently you can sometimes pull at 56 and get a successful stack off. So I was pretty happy about that. And again, split shot makes it really easy to farm. So there's my Manta and a TP scroll. And any damage I take is pretty negligible because it will regen over time. Another good bonus of getting more int at this point is that my Lincoln Sphere is a percentage-based mana regen item. It's 150%. So that means if your int increases, you will be getting more mana per second from it. So, pretty nice. And at this point, for 36 minutes, I'm definitely a little underfarmed, but compared to how the start went, it's really not that bad. So things are looking pretty good for us. I was just gonna hang out here and kill the ancients again when they respawned because I saw that all the jungle camps in our jungle were dead. I wanted to go into their jungle to farm, but it wasn't really something I felt like I could afford to do.
Haste.
And now we will be fighting apparently. Luckily he missed his ulti. Just wanted to secure this kill.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
I conclude.
Here comes the jukes. I was hoping for Doom to come back and save me.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
My gills run dry.
So I end up dying. My ulti was... My ulti was okay. But we just didn't have enough physical damage to drop him. And also Rubik died before that anyways. It was really lucky that I wasn't on the Chronosphere edge, but... yeah, I wasn't able to save Rubik, so even ulting Stop the Void didn't really accomplish that much. I didn't really see how the rest of the team fight went because I was being dived so hard by Void as well as the Storm, but we killed Storm. I mean, I killed Storm. Could have been worse. Surely they have Roshan.
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
Man, they keep like taking Roshan keep taking Roshan right under our nose. Maybe we knew about that one. I'm not sure. Nick's looking for a kill. The reason the Clockwork picked up a Necro 3 is to counter me. One of the counters against Medusa is draining your mana. So like an anti-mage, for example, is a great counter. That was really close. See, the idea is that if you're right-clicking and you do mana burn does damage naturally. But if you're also draining mana, then that means that you're not only doing damage, but draining the mana is doing more damage because she needs mana to tank. So mana burn against Medusa is really annoying. If like an anti-mage hitting for 64, the mana burn already does like half of that or 60% or something, so it's like 30 damage. But since you're draining 60 mana, you're basically doing 90 damage per mana burn just for having mana burn. It's really, really good. So mana burn's really fantastic against her. So that's why I picked up a Necro 3. The melee creep does mana burn directly. The ranged creep can do a ranged mana drain. And also, because I do split shot, which means I do AoE, you might have seen it in the last fight, but while doing my split shot AoE, I killed the melee creep, which meant that I took like 600 pure damage, which is a big nuke. So that's why I grabbed a Necro 3. It's pretty good against Medusa.
Top tower is under attack.
I can't really control what I hit, so sometimes I kill those. So from here, I have to make another item choice. In a typical game, especially like the last time I made a Medusa video, I believe I went for Butterfly at this point. The problem is that Faceless Void already has a Monkey King bar. That's number one. Problem number two is that even if I had a Butterfly, if he just Chronospheres me, then I have no evasion, because Chronosphere disables evasion. So it's really not that worth it to grab a Butterfly at this point, in my opinion. I don't think it's worth it at all. It's great for the damage output, but that's about it.
Looking for me?
That was a panic bind. I didn't realize there's a Dazzle up here still.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I don't know if that buyback was worth it. So let's go bot quick
Dire's
and farm
bottom
it.
tower is under attack.
So, instead of grabbing a butterfly, I decided to go for a Scotty. The reason you go Scotty, and this is actually a viable item build, Medusa is one of the few heroes that Scotty is actually pretty good on, but it gives you 25% of your stats, and that's something you really need. And it gives you a little bit of HP as well. So, and also, the disable's not bad, because Medusa as a hero lacks disable. So if I have the ability to slow at least one guy by a little bit, it's really useful. So, benefits of Scotty again. I get 25 damage, that means all my illusions get more damage. I get more HP, because I get 25 HP and 200 HP on top of that. Or 25 strength and 200 HP on top of that. I get 25 mana, which is way more int. This looks really bad for Doom. It's not really safe to be in the middle of the map in the late game. Doom ends up dying. I seem to remember the Doom played really well, but he's made quite a few mistakes this game. We really don't want to fight that, so... It's a pretty big wave top, so I want to go take that probably. Look at all that gold.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Possibly a rumble mid. I really hope we don't fight that. I mean, Doom's dead, so there's really no point to fight. So I might as well farm a wave right now. I can push out top.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower has fallen.
And now they are preparing to go in, so I decided it's time to go back. Doom or not, we gotta fight. The creep did not go where I wanted it to.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
It's a really good grave. Again, the Naga Siren to stop it.
Light.
Just kill the rest of the creep wave. Let my illusions kill it, so so I wouldn't take the pure damage. I couldn't believe we're still chasing, honestly. I felt like this is really greedy. Although I do almost have my Manta again, which is kind of nice.
Away. Safe word. Unstoppable.
Hogs are so annoying.
Monster triple kill. I weary of your endless self-promotion.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I was a little surprised they gave up on me. Like, I'm really hard to kill, but I can't kill them. That's the thing. It's like, huh, why aren't those guys trying to kill me?
Dire's bottom tower
Was able to deny as well. And now I can buy the rest of the components. So I have Scotty now. 2 Ultimate Orbs, Point Booster, and a Orb of Venom. Faces Void is now picked up an AC. I don't know if that's the right choice. He might be better off with the Daedalus, I think. Although it does make him really, really hard for me to kill. So he has a benefit. So I've got Eye of Scotty now. My HP is ridiculous. My mana is ridiculous. My damage is okay. One of the benefits of grabbing Butterfly over Scotty is that Butterfly gives you 60 damage, so pretty big difference. It only gives your illusions 30 though, so technically Scotty makes my illusions about as good. Now you guys might be wondering, does the Scotty orb apply to everything I hit? And the answer is no. It's only the primary target that I right click. So you can't just like buy a Scotty really fast and then AoE slow everybody on the enemy team. So if you see, I'm shooting out 2 regular arrows and 1 like frost arrow. So I only slow the primary target. So that means if I during a team fight, I'm probably gonna want to right click either the Void or somebody to reduce his attack speed, which means less damage. So primarily it's just a tanking item that happens to give me a lot of survivability. Now after the Scotty, grabbing a Butterfly at this point I think is okay, because I'm already super survivable. Yeah, sure, he's got a Monkey King bar, but now what I'm lacking is damage. So picking up an item that gives me a lot of damage output. I can't talk. Picking up an item that gives me a lot of damage output at this point is worth it, even if I lose some of the defensive aspects. I think that's okay. At this point, it's absolutely okay to grab a butterfly. We're looking for an initiation. I think that was a good choice for a Doom target, but unfortunately, again, Naga's gonna Sung. That's right, I killed him. Didn't even care. I got my ulti off in time. Stun him at the perfect time. That was a great ulti from Rubik there.
Oh, look at it go!
Isn't it beautiful, guys?
You're still wet behind the ears.
So beautiful. Chrono is very good. That was an eggs chrono, so I think it lasts for like 6 seconds.
Time is a river with many eddies.
Yeah. 6 seconds. Oh my god. It's so good. Freaking 6-second AoE stun on 3 of their heroes. So good. I used my Manta a little late, but it still worked out okay. Ah, split shot. It's pretty good. It's honestly pretty good. I mean, you still hit pretty soft, relatively, but... I could also have picked up a rapier at this point, by the way. I don't have to go butterfly. If I really want damage, I could just grab a rapier, and then I hit for like an extra 300. Rapier Medusa builds are actually pretty fun because unlike Gyrocopter, Medusa is actually really tanky. Assuming you've gotten the other items. So grabbing rapiers on her is pretty standard and definitely worth it. Again, I got the Void. Most important thing. And now I do the right click. He ended up dying to Doom. So, really, really good for us. So I think the big mistakes that our opponents made is that, first of all, they got Ags on Void versus a Rubik, which is a mistake. So it basically gives them an extra 1 second. Well, it gives them an amazing ulti. I'm sure he's got it up again. Yeah, he's been using it. Like, I think it's just too dangerous to grab an Eggs on Void. Like, Void's Chrono is one of the easiest spells to steal because it only has 2 spells to cast, and usually he has to use Time Walk first to get into the battle. So if for some reason he doesn't kill the Rubik in the team fight during the Chrono, then it just puts your team in a really bad spot.
Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's ancient is under attack.
Just right click. So a lot of crying on the enemy team. A lot. They cried so much. So much crying. I can just imagine their allied chat. They were probably so mad.
What a surprise. Oh, yes.
Fits for a goal. What have we here?
So salty.
What have we here?
So yeah, that's Medusa. Despite getting pretty far behind, we were able to come back. It was mostly a lot of our team going around and winning 4v5 team fights, or at least breaking even while I was able to freefarm. And then from there, we turned it into pretty decent items, and we team fought okay. We had definitely much better team fight than them. best team fight they were working with was Chrono, as well as the Naga ulti, but the Naga ulti was only enough to usually stop like 1 or 2 of our ultimates. And as long as Rubik got a good Chrono off, then we had a pretty guaranteed way of winning. So, alright, so that is Medusa. Sorry for all the coughing, guys. I am sleeping a lot and drinking a lot of water. It just takes time for me to stop the coughing and stuff. So, thanks everyone for tuning in, and I will see you guys soon. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you guys like the content. You can follow me on Facebook or Twitter at Purge Gamers, and I think that is about it. Alright, I'll see you guys later. Bye.